Yo YouTube! Here's my video for today, which is Wednesday the 21st of February. I'm on my way home right now. I've not got a job for tomorrow. I've not got a job for right now, but I'm quite tired, and so I think now is a good chance to do my video. So this morning I did, in the video that I've just uploaded, say a bit about this morning. So just a quick summary. I woke up at 6:30 near Douglas in Scotland. Sort of neither one thing or the other. It's neither north enough to get a job from Glasgow or Edinburgh, or south enough to get a job from England. So I decided that I would leave pretty early. I left at 7:20 from the site, and I just drove for an hour southwards to Lockerbie just to see if I got any work. I went to Tesco's at Lockerbie, just got a bit of food to eat. I had my porridge that I made with my hot water in my van, and I was looking for jobs, and there wasn't really anything coming up at all. So I decided after a very short break to carry on moving, and I decided to go down as far as just into England, so just past Gretna, the next services. And I pulled over there, looked at my mileage getting out of Scotland, and that's when I did my video based on just summarising my Scotland trip as a separate set of figures. So remember, if you remember that on Monday evening I was talking about Captain Hindsight, who getting comments. So when I publish today's video for yesterday, I may get, or in the past I might have got people saying, "Oh, you should go to Scotland, you'd never make money," because I've told you what the figures are. But on Monday I didn't know it was going to happen. Anything could have happened, and it wasn't too bad. I was reasonably happy with it. Going to Scotland is for me, it's interesting in itself. I forgot to mention in my video previously the border crossing from England to Scotland that I really like is on the A68. And I took a video of it on Monday night when I crossed the border, but it was just pitch black. There's no point in putting it on as a shorty. But I know now it's the A68 crossing across. So next time I do it in daylight, I'll do that as a little short. So my Scotland sort of strategy now, just to summarise, is to get a good price getting up there, and to look for jobs coming back, but not really rely on that for the following day, or that it depends on the time I get there, and then allow myself the opportunity to stay in Scotland for a day, or maybe even a day and a half, and then see where the work takes me. And there's a decision to make on the second day. So when you do that on the second day, there is a point at which if you make enough money in the morning and you've made enough money on the travel up, you can dead money at home and make enough money to make the job worth it over sort of 2 days. But if you leave it too long, then you miss out on the opportunity and you have to go to a third day. So yesterday, Tuesday, I finished basically about 3:15. I could have just dead-marred it all the way home, but I did feel that I was too tired to do that, so that's the main reason why I didn't do that. But I think in hindsight, if I was doing it again, I would take the jobs as I did, then I would probably drive down to T-Bay Services area, like Carlisle. Because there were some jobs from Carlisle. There was some jobs that came out of that area. So rather than staying overnight where I did, I'd come a bit further down south next time, or if I'm nearer to Glasgow, go a bit further north. So that's what I've learned from that. And so I find that doing these trips, you get a handle on what works and what doesn't work for me. The other thing that I didn't do yesterday, which I'll try and remember next time, is I didn't look until quite late for jobs the following morning in Scotland when I finished and I was at Douglas. And it wasn't until about 5 o'clock and I started looking, and there were jobs for the following morning, sort of that afternoon. So if I was in England, I'd be looking for jobs the following day from home. But I should really have, as soon as I got to Douglas, looked at the following morning, not just that day, and I may have found a decent job from Glasgow or Edinburgh going back the following morning that I could have won early on that day, and that would have been an extra little strategy that could have worked. So I will try and remember that next time I'm in that position. But my strategy basically is to sort of not try and get up and down in one go, get up to Scotland and then sort of spend some time there and then come back down. I am mindful of that strategy. It means I'm taking work away from Scottish drivers who want to stay in Scotland. I do apologise if that happens to you, but I think I don't know if it's going to happen for sure. I don't. Well, okay. My justification is I don't go really low. I go for fair rates. So I'm not trying to outprice Scottish drivers in their own sort of backyard. I treat Scotland price-wise the same as I do in England. Yeah. So what happened then? I did my video, which was just a static video with some trees. So we'll see if I get any complaints about that. And then I drove south, and I ended up driving to T-Base Services before I stopped. So that's about 11:30ish. I think I got there. So I finished the video at 9:50, and I drove for about an hour and a half to around about T-Bay before I got a job. And it's just one of these things that happens. On the map, it looked like it wasn't very far away, the pickup. It was going from Wigston to Manchester. And for me, that was going in the right direction, and it was fine. When I accepted it, I ended up finding out that it was 40 miles going back on myself, back up to Carlisle. So that's why I'm sort of saying, if I'd stayed at Carlisle, I might have got a job out of there this morning for early on. Anyway, if I'd also left later, if I'd left half an hour later, I'd have been closer to that when the job popped up. But you can't control these things. You could spend your whole life wishing for you to be at the right place at the right time. And as it was, I basically did 40 miles extra to the mileage that I was loaded miles to win this job. So it was 121 miles loaded, and it was for a small van, and I bid £100 and I got that job. So really that's £100 for 161 miles if you include me going back up the road. So I went back on myself, and I arrived at about 11:30. Is that right? Yeah, no, I must have left. It was about an hour, so I must have left TV Services at 10:30 and got there at 11:30. So when I previously said I arrived at 9:50 and left at 11:30, that includes me getting to the first pickup. So I was waiting for 45 minutes at TV Services. No, sorry. Oh, I'm messing this up so much. My drive from my video point at the edge of Scotland down to T-Base Services before I got the job, that time was 45 minutes of driving time. And then I turned around and spent an hour driving back to Wigston, and so I left there about 10:30 to get there for 11:30. Right. Manchester was not too bad this time. I didn't get stuck on the M6. Oh, one thing I wanted to say, which was something I've never seen before, and I hope not to see it again because lots of people had bad days. It was about 12:30 on the M6, just north of Kendal, on the southbound carriage, the carriage I was on, and there were some cars in the hard shoulder, and I had a quick look at them. There was a police highway agency vehicle there, sort of look after them, and there was a recovery truck, and there's about 2 or 3 cars, and I think one of them had a bit of a dent, so I assumed there'd been a bit of a prank. But then after those, immediately after, there was another 2 cars parked on the side, and then another car, and then about 100 metres down the road there was 2 more cars parked, and I noticed that every single car parked in the hard shoulder had at least the driver's side front tyre punctured. So something had happened. It could have just been on the driver's side, it must have been on both sides, I'm guessing, but about 7 vehicles all had punctures, and they're all stuck on the side of the road, and that was just a really weird thing to see. I don't know how that could happen. Obviously something must have been in the carriageway, but it must have been on the right hand side of the inner lane, because at least because it was the driver's side that got punctured. So anyway, that was I felt sorry for those people being stuck there. There was no delivery vehicles stuck, so I kind of felt that's okay then. Not one of us. It's one of them that got stuck. No, 7 of them got stuck. None of us. Right. I got myself to Manchester, and I was a bit reticent about getting a job because it's hit and miss for me. But I'm going to change that now to it's hit for me. Manchester. I think I've been there once and struggled to get a job, but every other time I've managed to get a pretty decent paying job from Manchester. I was going to M17 to do what am I talking about? Second job. No, M17 was my drop off, wasn't it? Yes. I dropped off at M17, couldn't quite find the right place at first, but then I did find it easy enough, and I arrived there at 2:15. What I was delivering was just a single box from hospital. It was going to be transported to Denmark. So it's sort of I was trans-shipping it for someone. So I got that delivered, got out onto the side of the road. It was an industrial estate, and I was looking for another job. And there was quite a lot of suitable work around Manchester, going various places. Oh, I was so tempted by, well, not tempted, I wasn't going to do it because I'm too tired, but there was Scotland jobs, there was North East jobs, there was London jobs, there was a lot of choice, to be fair, and so I put about 3 or 4 bids on, and there's one that was sort of going to St Ives in Cambridgeshire, with a drop-off in Lincolnshire and in, I think, Newark. I think it was Newark, Louth and St Ives. And that would have been a really good one. It was 214 miles loaded with 3 stops. So I put on 250. I would love to have done that job. But before that became available, I did get a job from M17. I was 2 minutes from the pickup. That never happens to me. It was the same industrial estate. It was just a couple of roads behind me, and it was going to Aspie de la Zouche, which is definitely in the right direction for me. I won that job at 27 minutes past 2, so within about 15 minutes of dropping off, I'd won the next job. It was 91 miles loaded for a small van, and I got it for £80. So picked it up really quickly. It was a few boxes, and then I made my way to Aspie de la Zouche and just dropped it off now. Got there at 4:45. So that was the 2 jobs for today. I'm not expecting to get any more work today. I'm about an hour and 3/4 away from home. I'm just going to head back, and I'm going to get a reasonably early night because I'm quite tired. I didn't sleep very well last night, and I'll be ready for tomorrow. I'm not going to be working Friday, or I might work Friday afternoon, not working Friday morning. So tomorrow I'm going to do something slightly different with my videos. I'm going to try doing almost like a live updates. It's not going to be literally live. I'm going to do what I want to do is do a video to sort of show what I'm doing, not necessarily what I'm doing on the app, because that's not necessarily interesting. I want to do a video to show me bidding for jobs, what I'm thinking about, what I'm trying to achieve, I'll then do a little video once I've got it as I'm driving, and then do that for the next job if I get more than 2 jobs. And I might just do some short 5-minute videos throughout the day, just showing how my day goes, for a couple of reasons. First of all, I'll then have videos that show the actual route I'm doing on the day that I'm doing the video, which rather than just going home at the end of the day. And secondly, I want to try and sort of put you in my mindset a bit more. So when I'm actually making decisions in the moment, I'll tell you what I'm thinking, because a lot of it is, I think, about risk assessment. So if I bid X amount, will I get this? If I bid a bit less, I've more chance of getting it, but then I won't make the money. If I go to this area, will I get another job? So I think the idea of risk analysis is quite a big deal, I think. And sometimes with risk analysis, you get things wrong. Sometimes you get things right. I don't think of it as being lucky or unlucky. I think of it as just making decisions, and decisions will lead to outcomes that we then choose to apply the term good luck or bad luck to it. But it's just things that happen to us, and I won't go into this all too much, as I've said before, but I just want to sort of show you throughout the day why I make certain decisions as I'm making them, and then the outcome of those for the day. It might not be very interesting, it might be a little bit different. Right, stats for today then. So I'll finish off with so having had fuel, my average fuel price this week now is 15.79 pence per mile. Today I have driven for 415 miles, 415 miles. That's from sort of central Scotland, and that'll get me home. I have worked for 11 3/4 hours by the time I get home, and I've earned 2 CX jobs, £180, 180. That was £100 to go from Wigston to Manchester, and then £80 from Manchester to Ashby. I've spent £65.53 on fuel today, which means after fuel I've earned £114, 114. So just before I go, it's not a great amount of money. We all know why it's low. It's not a lot. There's a lot of drivers, not a lot of jobs at the moment. I regard that as being ticking over money. It keeps me going. So really, when you've got busier times in sort of June, July up to Christmas, those are the times that you should be putting money aside to cover times like January to April, May. It depends on how the year pans out, but it's expected to have low paying weeks at the start of the year after Christmas. It's not a surprise, but that's why you sort of put aside money from other times of the year to account for that. It's why if you were to start doing this job in January or February, it's quite tough. Cash flow is really tough. So yeah, I'll leave that there, and I'll say thank you for listening or watching my video. If you're one of those brilliant shippers or drivers that work collaboratively, thank you, and I hope you do well this year. Farewell, friends.